What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk about Marvel every single day. And we have some updates today about the new X-Men team coming to the MCU. Now, we just talked about in our last video how reportedly the Russo brothers are not just going to be handling the ending of the multiverse saga with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Infinity War, but now Marvel Studios wants them to continue after Secret Wars, going into the next saga, the Mutant Saga, or the Mutant Era, as Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has recently called it. So it looks like the Russo brothers are here to stay, and they are going to oversee the story and the introduction of the X-Men in the MCU during the next saga, which I think is a win, and you can find out more information about that report in the previous video we did. This report is about casting specific members of the X-Men, and this is coming up as not necessarily controversial, but there does seem to be a divide about one specific character, and that is Gambit. Now, according to the insider Daniel RPK, Marvel Studios right now is trying to cast two specific X-Men, and one of them is Gambit. Now, he reported that Gambit was going to be a part of the new X-Men team all the way back in August of last year. And this was right after Deadpool and Wolverine came out and we got Channing Tatum as Gambit. So a lot of people right away were thinking Gambit might be Channing Tatum's Gambit. However, in his new report today, he stated that they are casting for Gambit. And this is where kind of the division comes in within the fandom right now, at least what I've seen online. There are about half of the people who want Channing Tatum's Gambit to be the Gambit of the MCU moving forward. And then there are people who don't want Channing Tatum to continue on as Gambit and want a new one moving forward in the MCU. Now, right away, you can go ahead and let us know your thoughts in the comments down below if you want Channing Tatum to continue to play Gambit or if you want a new one. But either way, we have two choices, and Channing Tatum's Gambit does seem to be coming back almost no matter what. The only question is, when will that stop? When will Channing Tatum stop being Gambit? Now, Channing Tatum has done a lot of interviews when it came down to Deadpool and Wolverine and him finally playing Gambit. He had been wanting to play Gambit for a really long time, over 10 years, and he almost got the chance to play Gambit with Fox. It didn't work out. And he even met with Kevin Feige after Marvel Studios got the X-Men. Kevin Feige said, "I'd love for you to be Gambit, I just don't know where we would put him." And then Deadpool and Wolverine came around, and they saw it as the perfect opportunity to throw him into the MCU. They did. It was awesome, in my personal opinion, and I thought the jokes they made about him were pretty good as well. About not really being born in any universe because he never actually got to play Gambit, so he was just kind of there in the void, always. It was clever, but as he did more interviews after the movie, he has continued to state he will do anything to play Gambit again. Then we have Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, who very recently, I'm talking months ago, came out and said they are obsessed with Deadpool and Wolverine. They want Deadpool and Wolverine to be in the MCU again, and that they are always looking to quickly put them back into a project or give them another project of their own, which would be Deadpool and Wolverine 2, of course. But then Ryan Reynolds said that Marvel Studios is obsessed with Channing Tatum's Gambit. Then on top of that, he posted to his Instagram a deleted post-credit scene that never made it in the theaters, but they filmed, and the post-credit scene is of Gambit back in the void. Then a portal opens up behind him, and he just kind of smiles. But this is, of course, 100% implying that he is going to be back in the MCU in some way, shape, or form. Now, we're assuming he's going to show up at some point in time again in Avengers Doomsday and or Avengers Secret Wars. And that could kind of be it for Channing Tatum's Gambit. He shows up again, he gets to play the character again, perhaps maybe even in two movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars. He lives out his dream once more. He gets to play Gambit in the MCU 3 times in 3 different movies, Deadpool and Wolverine, Doomsday, Secret Wars, and that is a dream come true for him. However, recently we've heard reports that Marvel Studios wants Hugh Jackman's Wolverine to stick around for a Deadpool and Wolverine trilogy, so 2 more movies, and Hugh Jackman reportedly wants to stick around in the MCU for another 10 years. So if Deadpool and Wolverine, but specifically Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, can stick around for many more years, 10 years to do another 2 movies, then Channing Tatum's Gambit can do the same, especially if you consider his relationship with Deadpool after everything that happened in Deadpool and Wolverine. So there really are actually kind of 3 options here for the new Gambit in the MCU post Avengers Secret Wars. One is it could be Channing Tatum's Gambit. He could simply continue on. But since Daniel RPK said they are casting now, that most likely means they're going to go with a new actor for it, which is option 2. They simply recast the character. But option 3 is what I think we're actually going to get. They cast a new character to play Gambit, but Channing Tatum's Gambit doesn't go anywhere. There can be 2. This is the Multiverse Saga right now. Who knows what it's going to be like going into the next saga, but in the Avengers Secret Wars comics, the multiverse gets restored after Secret Wars, so the multiverse should still be around. It probably won't have such a heavy focus in the next saga, but it should still exist. However, I do think that a new Wolverine should come into the equation in the MCU. That doesn't mean I think Hugh Jackman should go away, but I do think new characters should come in played by new actors, so these actors can play these characters for the next 10 to 15 years. And so they can be around the same age as the other X-Men around them. If they're doing a young X-Men team, then everybody should be generally around the same age. Now, not everybody is the same age in the comics, obviously, but they should be proportionate to their age in the comics, especially if we are starting off with, say, an X-Men First Class and we do have a younger X-Men team, then the actors coming in should be young and they should be prepared to play these characters for a very long time. And I actually do think the Deadpool and Wolverine franchise can continue on and kind of be one-off movies. Obviously, they'll be connected to the entirety of the MCU, but the story that they tell can be one-off. Just give us the same thing that you gave us for Deadpool and Wolverine with a different story. You can have Channing Tatum's Gambit back, and just having the 3 of them appear on screen together, going through the multiverse and going through crazy stories, that would work, especially if you consider the fact that Deadpool can break the 4th wall. Maybe only he can travel the multiverse after Secret Wars. That would actually be kind of cool. So there is a way to get a new Gambit and have Channing Tatum's Gambit live on. Now, the report also says that Marvel Studios right now is also casting Kitty Pryde. And again, back in August of last year, Daniel RPK reported that Kitty Pryde was one of the X-Men who was going to show up for the new X-Men team. So the plans there seem to be the same. And I think having Kitty Pryde being one of the X-Men is a great move. And I know what everybody is thinking right away. If we get Kitty Pryde, we want Lockheed, her dragon, as well. In fact, I think it would actually be pretty cool if they did a Disney plus Kitty Pryde and Lockheed series, or they could even do a Kitty Pryde Shadow and Flame series. Either way, I think it's a great choice to have Kitty Pryde and Gambit in there, and I just hope we get Rogue. I really hope we see the relationship between Gambit and Rogue in the MCU. X-Men 97, I think, did a really great job in all aspects, really, but specifically when it came to Gambit and Rogue, I really liked what they did with that. And we've heard that one pitch that Marvel Studios has heard and is considering is basically the team of X-Men 97. So hopefully that does mean Rogue will also come into the equation and we'll get to see that story. And maybe we'll even see her get to take the powers of Captain Marvel. In the meantime, we're really starting to learn more about the future of the MCU. And Marvel is making a lot of moves and they're planning way into the future, which of course they have to, because once Secret Wars is over, the next phase begins, and that is the Mutant Saga. So they have to be planning that now, which they are. And we're just going to continue to get a lot of news about the future. So if you want to stay up to date on the future of the MCU, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.